Hello again everybody, so today we're going to be playing with a D-max that managed to get into a fight with a tree. Pretty sure the tree won. Here she is. So we got a bit of sheet metal to replace. That inner guard there, we'll be cutting that one off. Putting a new one in. Bumper could probably be salvaged, but we're not going to. Get rid of it. Bonnet well and truly done for. So, as we said, not pretty. Done a bunch of damage back behind the radiator support as well. Smash the airbox. I'm gonna guess that radiator is gonna be no good. The headlight definitely, she's gone. We'll rip into her and we'll follow this a little bit and how we're gonna repair it. So the radiator support will be same fate as that inner guard there. If anybody's ever looking for one of those, the Isuzu call it something funny, so don't bother looking up inner guard. The inner guard to them is just a little plastic rain guard liner. Can't remember what they call that, but it was terrible to track it down. But we're going to make it look beautiful again. that's about everything that we can unbolt off the front end of this. We found a little bit of rippling up in there, which would have pushed this front end across a bit. So we might go into a little bit of hammer and dolly, knock that part out. But other than that, even the bumper supports, not even a bend to them, still straight as. So very lucky you only hit the top edge here. So what we'll do now is I'll start cutting through spot welds and stuff like that. As you can see there, telltale marks where they go. I'll start chopping through those, start removing some of this, might stop, show you just how to use a spot weld cutter. And we'll check back in once I've got this rad support off. Alright, just thought I'd show you this little cool tool I've got here. So when you got these annoying hose clamps, I'm going to do this one-handed. So this here, tip her over. And squeeze. You can get them down into those annoying spots. So there's always one of these things in the most hard to reach places you can never get pliers on. These things are relatively inexpensive. Squeeze them, automatically locks, and there you go. You get this off out of your way, and then just hit the release. Easy as that. Alright, so going to use my slide hammer to pull out a bit of that radiator support, clearance it to try and pull the radiator and everything out, and the stupid end of it keeps flying off. So it's a good excuse to give you another look at another tool. This thing here has been an absolute game changer. So this is my make do weld table. I've got a new fixture point table, got to make the legs for it still. This thing here is amazing. So it's a little weld positioning table. Variable settings, so for speed and stuff. You've got forward and reverse on the side, your on and off switch on the side there, little earthing clamp runs through there. You just clip your earth line to that, and it's foot controlled, so you push a foot pedal, it starts turning. Little 3-jaw chuck. You can go internal, external on it. It's beautiful. The other good thing about this one is you can actually undo the sides here, and the whole bed can lay down. You can lay down longer, heavier pieces on your roller stands, and this thing will turn them as you work them, running that way as well as that way. So I'm going to weld these two together so that stop end stops flying off on me every time I pull on the weight, and get back into it. But yeah, if you play around with welding, especially round stuff, this thing, absolute game changer. So can't film the actual welding, I don't have filters, I don't know how it'll look, but yeah, that's what you get when you don't have to stop all the time. Nice continuous weld, not the cleanest, doesn't have to be, just for my own thing. Just to stop this damn handle stop plate coming off every time I use it. But yeah, there she is. So here is a perfect example of where those stupid hose clamps are the worst. Trying to grab hold of that down there is a nightmare if you do not have one of these. It took 2 hands to get it on there, so I can only imagine what it would have been like if I was trying to get a pair of pliers to clip down on that. But there we go. Literally just squeeze that. That hose clamp is undone, and it'll lock itself open too thanks to this, and I don't have to worry about the annoyance trying to get this bloody thing to get off. I can lock that on and just slide the hose off. So we've got a fair chunk of the radiator support out, and we've got our new PCID to line up, so I'll show you on. The side is out. We just cut it there for now till we reference our new piece. There's our new panel. It's going to be replacing this bent and mangled crap. So don't just start chopping into these things, because you don't know where your panel is going to go, especially on something like this. It's got a couple different connection points, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces running through there. And if you just start chopping off or cutting back to here, this panel only actually ends here. So these 2 spot welds there are the ones that we want to pull. Everything from there forward. So if you just get into it, start cutting back here, all you're doing is creating more work for yourself. So there's our new panel, looking beautiful. A lot better than this anyway. Everything connected to that is disconnected now. ECU bracketry and everything is off. All our reservoirs are gone, air boxes are gone. Now it's just a matter of removing this panel, prepping to put the new one in. So what we're going to do on that, I'll get my spot weld cutter out, we'll cut them, and we'll go from there. And then yeah, as I say, this side's been cut, been freed. A little bit of panel damage up through here. This is from a previous accident, so we'll get the hammer and dollies out. We'll straighten these out a bit before we throw the new radiator support in. That was not from me, just so everybody's aware. I'd spot weld this, so once the bonnet turns up, we can go and we'll be grabbing those soon. Bonnet, the new radiator support, radiator, they'll all be in ready for pickup soon. We'll grab those and we'll start dummy fitting everything. Let's get in there. Alright, another little tool flex. Those who haven't seen them before, this is an automatic center punch. I use a Kinchrome one. You can get cheaper ones, but the cheap ones are nasty. They don't work very well. So I've been through them all. This one seems to work the best. It's consistent, doesn't slip. The reason I've got this out is when you find your spot welds you want to cut, throw that in the center of them, just push on it. Now it's not dead center because I'm trying to hold the camera and do it through the camera. In this center. And then the next step on cutting through these, if you haven't seen them before either, is in this little box here. This is a spot weld cutter. You chuck that in your drill, little pointy bit on the end there. Focus on it. Goes inside the holes you just punched. Line them up and push down the drill. And that cuts around that little spot weld. Freeze that up. Then later on, if you, depending on where the spot weld is, if you've got one that's on a panel, you just shave it back with the grinder or whatever, get it nice and smooth again. Don't go too far or you'll end up blowing through on the other ones. Or if you've got the hole there, you're going to use that later anyway. If you can't get an actual clamp style spot welder on there, you're going to end up using something like a MIG, and you actually want to go have a hole there ready to go that you're going to put your MIG in and fill it back up with. So there's a quick rundown on 2 little tools just to get these out. We'll check back in short. Alright, I got you set up on the tripod so I can show you the couple, just doing these 2 spot welds this here that we punched just before, you can see with the drill. So I'll try and get this as good as possible, but it's not an ad for Milwaukee yet. Milwaukee, hit us up. Definitely would like a Milwaukee sponsorship. These are the holes, wrong way, that we're going to be trying to do. Now one thing, look after your tools, now look after you. Now that little cutter head there, double-sided cutter head, but if you use something like this, cutting spray, cutting fluid, we just got this one by Venom, Bunnings Special. It prolongs the life of your bit. Give it a little spray, put it in your center hole that you just punched. Put a bit of pressure down. There's that bloody center punch. You don't need a tremendous amount of pressure when you're doing this either, just enough just to get it start cutting through. And you only want to cut through one panel. Don't cut through both bits of metal. Just through the one. As you can see, that works just like a mini hole saw. Keep it all nice and lubricated. So once again, we are keeping this top panel, just trying to free this one. So we've just cut through them without cutting into that. This one doesn't really matter too much because this is being replaced, so just keep that in mind. You can cut through both if you really want to, if you're pissing this piece off, but if you were to do it from the reverse coming back into this one, so if you were to come back through this way off the sacrificial panel into these two, you don't want to chop the whole way through. You only want to free this panel. So we've got all the spot welds are cut. There's a couple of pain in the arse ones to get to up underneath the wheel arch up in here. Mainly because of the damage that was done to this when it came in. Buckled all that down. So with the persuader, got some of that out of the way. Drilled it. We're expecting that to all out. Fingers crossed. It's going to come off. Off. Now I'll give you a look at what we're left with. So what Isuzu didn't like as much, there's a couple multiple spot welds in there which I ended up having to cut through this panel to release, because annoyingly they were down in here and that guard did come down like that, so there was just no getting to this backside here with it. But that's okay, when the new one goes in we'll be spot welding from this side, so we'll have all those back together and filled. But yeah, all these holes where the spot welds are, they're going to be a good guide for where we want to put them back in. Typically when we drill these panel here to put it back in, we wouldn't drill that size. We drill closer to about 3.5, 4 mil, and then when you do spot weld, shoot straight down the center of it. But we'll go into a bit more detail on that one when we do the next video on this. So this video is just covering disassembling, pulling all the damage off. So there's all the stuffed parts gone out of the way, and get ready to reassemble it and make it good. So like, once again, this person got fairly lucky. This is all straight. We measured all this, made sure that it didn't shift or move, checked over the cracks on mounting, shock mount, stuff like that, and yeah, absolutely nothing, no sign of damage. So it survived well. Luckily it was straight in the headlight there, did all the damage. Everything that you can see left on the vehicle there is all still in good condition. Now it's just a matter of replacing it. So as we showed already, we got one of the new panels sitting there. The rest of them should be turned out tomorrow. Not sure when you're going to see the next half of this build. We've got a couple of things we need to clean up. So this is what I was saying, somebody went through and cut these last time. Different to how I would have. It looks like they've put a sawzall blade or something in there, or a grinder, and cut it that way. And you end up with these gouges. It's pretty thin metal there. You can see marks from where it was done. No big deal. We can go through, we can clean all these up. Treat it with some weld through primer and get this all back together. So stay tuned for the next video covering the repairs on this, and hopefully you guys have found some bit of useful information in amongst this video. If so, give us a like. Once again, tell us how we can do better. Tell us what you enjoyed. Any feedback is good feedback. Like, subscribe. We're going to keep videos similar to this coming out. The channel is going to evolve, and we'll go from there. So, good day.